Welcome back to another action-packed episode of Comic Confidential, the midweek special, some would say. I'm your host, Cade Meyer, and alongside me today is the immortal Iron Fist himself, protector of Kunlun, Troy Spinner.
That's me, and I'm going to tell you about 70 times through this episode that I am the Immortal Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun.
Wow.
Wait for it.
Wait for
it's
it.
It's going to happen multiple times. I am Danny Rand, and my parents died. Haven't I told you this? Yeah. If you haven't guessed already, we are going to talk about The Defenders in this weirdly placed midweek episode, which is kind of freaking me out right now.
Yeah?
I don't even know what day it is technically.
Either do I. We haven't figured it out yet.
It could be Tuesday, it could be Wednesday. You don't know. I mean, you know because you're listening. We genuinely don't. So hopefully enjoy your Tuesday/Wednesday. Happy hump day if it's that.
Good morning, afternoon, and good night.
Yes. Any one of those. We hope you are well. Now let's talk about The Defenders, man.
And
let's just get into it.
Let's get into it. It's going to be spoilers from the start, guys.
Yeah, so look. A small part of the reason as to why we have separated these two things is so now if you do not want to listen to us talk about The Defenders, you don't have to if you haven't seen it yet. But by the time this has come out, you have had well over
10 days.
10 days. Well over 10 days. What are you doing? You've had over 2 weeks.
What is more important than watching The Defenders?
There's 8 episodes. You just need to put less than 8 hours of your time down. You don't have to do it in one sitting, but you could do it in a couple and watch this goddamn show. So after building towards its ensemble show since Daredevil Season 1, Marvel and Netflix have finally released the first season of Defenders, joining the established characters of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist as a ragtag quartet of heroes set to take on the mysterious and powerful Hand. We binged the shit out of it. The absolute shit out of it. And now we're going to break it down, figure out what it got right, what it got wrong, and most importantly, where it ranks within the Marvel Netflix universe. So let's talk about this thing, man. What did you think overall? Overall thoughts of the story and stuff like that?
This really made the Hand look quite meh to me.
Yeah.
Because we've seen, Daredevil Season 1, Season 2?
Season 2, definitely, yeah.
We saw Iron Fist.
Yep.
And did we see any of the Hand in Luke Cage? I don't think we did.
No, it wasn't really. It wasn't really about the Hand.
It was kind of mentioned, but that was
Yeah.
about it. For it to kind of just be wrapped up like this, and it's not entirely wrapped up.
Yeah.
But in the sense that this is this insanely powerful organization.
Yeah.
To kind of just become the second player.
Yeah, it was disappointing in the sense of, this is something that is supposed to be like this, like I said, as I was introducing it, this mysterious and kind of all-powerful organization.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like Supergirl in the sense of, how sort of powerful they are at times compared to other times. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it's kind of like, holy shit, they're incredibly powerful, and other times they're getting the shit kicked out of them by normal people.
Yeah,
so
that's something I want to talk about a bit later on, because that fucking annoyed me.
Yeah. So, and it is. So what we have essentially is we have Sigourney Weaver's character, Alexandra. And Alexandra is, she is basically the leader of the Hand.
The lady in the shadows.
Yeah, the first time the Hand has actually had a leader, and it's Sigourney Weaver, Ripley from Aliens. Would you want anybody else?
Hell no.
Leading your team? No, you wouldn't. So she's basically there, and I guess the whole problem that I had with the story itself overall, and these aren't I'm not just straight out bagging on the show or anything like that. These aren't my final thoughts or anything like that. But the biggest problem I had with it is that their motivations were never really fleshed out. So, do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So, ultimately, the idea is to dig a giant hole within, under New York, which to dig up some dragon bones, to get some secret ooze that keeps you living forever, and then will also create like a massive earthquake enough for New York to disappear and Kunlun to reappear. Like, is that kind of what I'm getting out of it? And then somehow in there's also a black sky that kind of like just randomly picks who it wants to be attached to or something like that. And in this case, chose Elektra. So it wasn't the overall motivations weren't fleshed out enough for me. And so, like, I get it in the sense of they're digging this hole, they come up against this wall that is protected somehow, and they need the Iron Fist to break through it with his chi hand. Right?
Wow. Yeah, that's the layman term, isn't it? Look, I'm going to agree with you. The motives were they kind of changed as they needed to.
Yeah.
Black Sky, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, almost unnecessary. Almost unnecessary. Completely unnecessary, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver, loved her. This story, though,
yeah,
it kind of ran around in circles and came to a pretty weak end.
So how it initially seemed, like it was almost going to be kind of like a Ra's al Ghul, League of Assassins, or League of Shadows, depending on what you've like listening to, kind of thing where they want to like raise New York City, as in destroy, not build up, where they want to like raise New York City, and that's kind of how it seemed. And then there was the Tremors and all that sort of stuff, and that's kind of how it seemed like it was playing. But then it kind of very weirdly and unexpectedly turned into this search for the secret ooze, which are buried in some dragon bones.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, it kind of very much switched.
Right at the end.
Yeah. And here would be my problem with that.
Okay.
Right? Because, as this progressed and as they kind of, there were power, shifts and all that sort of stuff, which we'll talk about as we go along. But there were power shifts and struggles, and the hand were kind of like infighting when you're talking about the main ones, the 5 fingers of the hand. So there was like infighting and all that sort of stuff. If I'm right, this ooze keeps you alive or brings you back to life. So you would therefore need somebody to put you into the ooze in order for you to come back to life, right?
Yep.
So then why would you kind of try to stab everybody in the back that could potentially put you in said ooze? So if you were to die, why wouldn't they just go, yeah, no, fuck that dude. I'm not putting him in the ooze. You put him in the ooze. No, I don't want to put him in the ooze. Fuck that guy. He was a bitch. You sort of thing, you know what I mean? And then they just leave you there.
Well, you see, that wasn't even made very clear about
exactly.
the ooze.
That's kind of my point.
It's kind of like it gave you eternal life, but I don't think any of these people actually, like the other members of the hand, actually died to achieve this. It was alluded to that Sigourney Weaver had died, but no one else.
Multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah.
But it wasn't alluded to that Madame Gao ever died.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at her, she's so much older than everyone else. Like, has this ooze been giving her eternal life in the sense that she doesn't need to die?
Yeah. And that's kind of what I didn't understand, because it seems like, because at one point Sigourney Weaver said to Elektra, "We are dying."
Yes.
Right, basically. So you and me, we are both dying. We need this ooze, we're going to call it, to survive and to carry on and stuff like that. And we've run out because we used the last of it, bringing the black sky to life, whatever the fuck the black sky is, because that was never really fleshed out either.
No, not at all.
And it's kind of like I personally used the last of it, bringing you back, yet you seem to be potentially weaker than all of us anyway. So why did we kind of need to do that in the first place?
Yeah. What wasn't clear is, like, did these hand members all have abilities? Is that alluded to, or is it just Madame Gao seems to have this, I guess, force within her?
Yeah, so Madame Gao seemed to be the only one that actually had like a genuine power.
Yeah.
Alexandra, at one point, she showed some pretty slick fighting skills, and that was really the only time you saw it, in a brief little encounter with someone. Can't even remember. I think it was just a hand member or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Then you had Bakudo, who didn't really do anything. He's just like a sword dude. He's like a guy that's pretty good with a sword.
Yeah.
And then you had Murakami, who was the other guy, the Japanese guy.
The bear hunter.
Yeah, he was the bear hunter, and he seemed like he was going to be some like super cool fucking like whatever. And then, you know, it was kind of alluded to that he was probably more powerful in the sense of, you know, he could take hits from Luke Cage and, you know, like things like that. But at the same time, he also got finished very quickly. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it was very, very weird. Like, they didn't really have necessarily any fleshed out powers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you were kind of, like you said, they were kind of alluded to. And Madame Gao was the only one where they kind of really did it. And I think the reason why they did that is because Madame Gao is like 1,000 years old as an actress.
And that was her storyline, to be able to stand up for herself against this much younger army.
Exactly. So it's not like you're going to put that actress through, you know, physical training. And,
yeah, for sure.
You know, have her fight or have some like, you know, makeup, you know, stand in and all that sort of stuff. Kind of like they did with Stick.
It was pretty interesting that all these hand members seemed to be very timid on like a hairpin.
Yeah. Yeah. It was... This is... And I guess I'm talking about this first because this is legitimately my biggest gripe. And once I'm done talking about this, then we can get into all the fun stuff and all that. But this was my problem with the whole thing, is the fact that these characters weren't fleshed out well.
Absolutely.
And the whole plot wasn't fleshed out well enough either. And it was just very confusing as to what the motivations were and who these characters were. And, like, you know, we meet Alexandra initially, and she's talking to Madame Gao, and she obviously seems to be, like, the one that's in charge. And then Bakudo fucking comes back out of nowhere, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm also one of these members of the, like, the Five Fingers of the Hand.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, cool, you were, like, one of the shittest things from Iron Fist Season 1. I'm so glad you're back.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, and then, you know, they get this other guy, what did I say his name was? Murakami. They get him out, and he looks like, again, like, you know, he kind of comes out of nowhere, and Alexandra seeks him out specifically, and you know, you think, okay, all right, this is the thing, and then it's kind of not. So,
and one person that we're actually forgetting to talk about is White Hat.
Oh, yes.
Who is another member of the Hand.
Yeah.
And it just happens to be
Sawande. Yeah. I forgot about him.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry, like that. Yeah, he was probably one of the cooler characters. Now that I think about it, now that I remember him, because there were Five Fingers, and I can't remember what they all were. But yeah, with Sawande, he seemed to like be kind of like had like hyper reflexes, or was like super quick, or something like that. That's why, you know, the kind of like all the pressure point stuff and all that sort of thing. So yeah, but that was another thing where they kind of like, you know, like this is a prime example. So Luke Cage gets hit by a truck, and Sawande and others go after him, and then you never see it happen. You never see anything past that, and then all of a sudden, Luke Cage rocks up and he's like, "I captured one of them. I've got Sawande."
Yeah.
How the fuck, dude? Like, how did that happen?
You could not even touch this guy earlier.
Yeah. So, you know, they were some of the things that were kind of like a little bit disappointing. But let's talk about the heroes, man. Let's talk about the defenders. What are your thoughts?
Okay. Clearly, Daredevil is the most equipped person in this series.
How so?
He effectively, and even Stick kind of says this, is that he is the leader from the back row. Denny, this is honestly, they tried to make this whole series a Denny Rand show again, which didn't work for me.
Yeah.
One, he's almost the worst fighter on this crew.
Yeah.
Like, you are the Immortal Iron Fist. He probably says that about 18 times.
Yeah.
And I'm not even fucking exaggerating.
That's in episode 1.
Yeah.
I loved it. Like, while we're talking about that, that is legitimately how he introduced himself to Luke Cage. He's like, "I am the Immortal Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun," and like Luke Cage is like, "Huh?
What?"
Sort of. Yeah. It was like, I thought it was like, you know, that's kind of very typical of this character in particular. Is that's how we would kind of introduce himself.
Yeah, he's very one-dimensional for this character that could be just so amazing.
Yeah.
Look, Jessica Jones, I wasn't really expecting a lot from her. And that's because she's always poorly written, in my opinion, in the sense that her powers are never the same in every scene.
Okay, I will give you that. Poorly written, no. So, like, as an actual character, She probably has some of the better character depth out of all of them.
In this series?
In this series, not so much.
And that's what I'm talking about.
But in this series, she had her time to shine. And, she was one of the funniest parts of the show, by a long shot. So, but I do agree with you in the sense that, her power set as well is very kind of all over the place. It's to the point where she can easily, kind of flip a massive garbage bin and just with a quick shove, push it, across the floor and, in front of a door and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But then, she's kind of punching people and, nothing is really happening, but then she's punching, she's grabbing people and throwing them across the room. And is she holding her punches back? It's very hard to actually understand what her power set is. And
Absolutely.
She also developed as a fighter very, very quickly from the start to the final kind of fight.
Oh my gosh.
Towards the end.
Underneath New York there, the big battle that goes on, I swear she is doing kung fu, karate, whatever is going on down there better than the Hand members.
Yeah. At least on par with Danny Rand.
Better than Danny Rand, mate. Luke Cage was an interesting member of this. Now, one of the things that we discussed in previous episodes is how would Luke Cage go up against these swords, knives, everything.
Yep.
We got to see one scene of him being attacked with a sword.
Yep. But we still got to see it.
We got to see it, but what a letdown. This guy is he's game changing.
Yeah.
And the fact that he gets kicked and knocked out.
Yes, but who did he get kicked by?
Well, he got kicked by the Black Sky, who seems to have normal strength, but when she wants to, she has this superhuman strength.
Well, see, with that I will take as a gradual development of her power. So she comes out basically like a child. And so she doesn't know what she's capable of and all that sort of stuff. So the more she progresses and the more she grows and the smarter she gets and, as everything comes back to her and all that sort of stuff, the more powerful she becomes. And I think Alexandra alludes to that she hasn't reached her full potential yet. I would question this, though. So this is a person that is capable enough of knocking Luke Cage out, right? So that's fine.
Yep.
But then is also going toe-to-toe with Daredevil.
And that's what
who
my
is
next
effectively, just a human dude who is a really, really good fighter.
Exactly. And I don't care how good your fighting is. If you take a massive, massive hit from a superpowered individual,
yeah,
I don't care. You're done.
Well, you could argue the fact that, she was holding back. So you could argue the fact that because of her love for Matt Murdock and all that sort of stuff, that she was holding back because, effectively she probably could have killed him at any point.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I feel like that's also easy writing.
Well, maybe, but I mean, wouldn't it be easier to just say, let's not have this massive knockdown, drag him out fight scene, and let's just have her knock him out with one kick because she's that powerful that she could do that.
That's what should have happened. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Danny fucking Rand.
Okay. Now, before we go on to Danny Rand,
okay,
because I didn't really I liked the characters a lot better in this show. So not so, Daredevil is fine. Daredevil is, he's this untouchable dude. His shows have been great, all that sort of stuff. Jessica Jones as well. I really liked season 1. And I thought she was great in this as well. Luke Cage, I've been very critical of, and that's primarily because it is one of my favorite characters. This did a lot to bring that character back for me, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Now, was there a great deal of character development or anything like that? Not necessarily.
I would almost argue that he went backwards.
How so?
This guy almost got more immature as the stakes rose.
How?
He is downstairs fighting Elektra next to the wall where he is the key. And I feel like this whole last little bit of a scene here with him opening it up was so telegraphed.
Hang on, you're talking about Danny Rand.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Luke Cage.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, because you were losing me 100%. Yeah, I'm talking about Luke Cage, man.
Right.
So Luke Cage for me had, like it wasn't the greatest character developing story or anything like that, but I appreciated where he came from, and I really liked how they kind of brought them all together. I think that was well done, how they all had their own individual stories.
Yep.
And just while we're on that, I just want to mention this because I don't know if I'll get a chance, but I really did like this. And over the first couple of episodes, while there were their individual stories going on before they actually had a chance to meet up at the building, they did a really good job of differentiating each person's story, and one of the ways they did that was through the color palette.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and I thought that was really good. So pretty much every scene for each individual one was dominated with like reds, greens, blues, and yellows, depending. And I thought it was really well done. But what I also thought was well done is what actually brought them all together. So how they had their own individual little storylines that tied them all to the same thing. And I thought that was great. And it made sense that it would happen like that. So that for me wasn't a stretch. And I liked the way that happened. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with that. I think the way they came together was quite well done. But back to my Denny rant.
Yep.
My Denny rant.
Yep.
He got so much less, I guess, capable as a person. He got less mature as the show went on, in the sense that he's just so like pig-headed that he is a one-man army. If you're not going to fight with me, I'm going to go fight on my own.
Yeah, but he is the Immortal Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun.
Oh, I totally forgot about it. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, it's easy to forget.
It is.
Look, I will agree with you, like, for sure, in the sense of this whole, like, a lot of this could have been avoided if Danny Rand had have just gone, hey, okay, I will listen to you guys, because you're kind of making a bit of sense.
Yeah.
I won't go and try to fight them by myself, because if I do happen to get caught, then I could lead to this whole thing, coming to a head and destroying the entire city and all that sort of stuff. But I am, like the protector of Kunlun, and I let my people down, and I made like it was my fate or destiny or whatever to protect my city, and I didn't, blah, blah, blah. I will say, though, that at the end, he did have a turnaround.
You reckon?
Yeah. So I think once, like, and you didn't really get a chance to see it. There was only like a couple of little things that happened afterwards, and it's like one scene with Colleen and that sort of thing. But once he kind of understood Daredevil's sacrifice that Daredevil had made for his city, he understood that, like, it's kind of not so much about him being the Iron Fist and all that sort of stuff. So he kind of realized that, there's more to it. And New York City is part of that. New York City is also his home. It's where he grew up and all that sort of stuff. And, he has a responsibility to look after that city as well. And I think he had a bit of a turnaround, and he grew towards the end, but it took him a long time to get there.
So you think that end scene is him becoming the man he needs to be?
Effectively, yeah.
I would hope so, because this character can be fantastic.
Yep.
He just needs to mature.
I would believe so. Look, we're getting into hefty spoiler territory for future seasons, but this could realistically be like there is a part in the comic book world where Danny Rand effectively becomes Daredevil.
Really?
Costume and all.
Wow.
Puts the whole thing on in the absence of Matt Murdock. And while we know now that, Matt Murdock is alive, so he sacrificed himself to save everyone else, but, we do know that he is alive. He will likely be missing for a while and not necessarily in action come season 3. So we could find that this is the next part of Danny Rand's story. Will he become Daredevil? I don't believe so. Not within this. But will he step up as protector of, Hell's Kitchen and wherever he's from, Manhattan necessarily, and all that sort of stuff? Probably. And I think that's what we'll see. So I think we'll see a different Danny Rand come season 2.
Fair enough. What do you think of Stick?
Stick is just,
Stick is a dick. We love him. I love him.
Stick is a dick.
I think he's a great character.
He dead.
He's dead.
He dead.
Yeah, totally dead. But I do love the way that he's just so clean cut, in the sense that he was like, you know what? I'm just going to kill Danny Rand.
Yeah.
Problem's done.
Yeah, like, I get it. It made sense. But, if that's the case, like, why wouldn't you have tried to do that right from the
I
start?
know.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy.
yeah. Why aren't you also after the Iron Fist to kill the Iron Fist?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, that's fine. Like, I guess, like, this is the kind of thing that brought together, like, each one of these shows by also bringing in their secondary characters. So, when you're looking at Daredevil, you had Foggy and Karen. Then Jessica Jones, you've got Malcolm and Trish. Luke Cage, you had...
Can I just say Malcolm is looking jacked as fuck?
Yeah, Malcolm's got himself off the heroin. He's got himself a gym membership.
He's on the steroids now.
Yeah, he's gone from heroin to steroids, and he is fucking jacked. He's looking good, the kid. Then you get Luke Cage, and you've got, obviously, Claire Temple, who kind of, ties the whole thing together. But you do get Misty Knight from that as well. And also, I'm not missing anybody from Luke Cage?
Colleen Wing.
Well, that's from
No.
Iron Fist.
Was there anyone else from... No.
And then from Iron Fist, obviously, you've got Colleen Wing and Bakudo, if you want, whatever.
What was your opinion on Colleen Wing?
I think she was heavily underutilized.
Really?
Yeah, look, I think she was one of the best parts of Season 1 of Iron Fist. And if the story is going to revolve so heavily around Danny Rand, then she, and I understand there are 4 major characters, they kind of, she was always pushed to the side. It's like, sorry, mate, you're not good enough. It's kind of like in Iron Fist Season 1, yeah, you're totally good enough, for sure. You're with me, fight the hand, do whatever, get yourself in danger, fight Bakudo, all that sort of crap. But now it's come to the Defenders, and there's a couple of other, like, special people around. We don't need you anymore.
You're very sheltered
Yeah,
now.
and they kind of put her to the sideline, only to bring her back when it was kind of necessary to have her story close with her killing Bakudo.
Yeah.
So I think she was heavily underutilized as a character. Such a strong character from Season 1.
What about Misty losing her arm? Finally.
I
hate that fake out that we got in Luke Cage, and I was just like, just fucking lose the arm, bitch.
Yeah.
We got it now.
It's good. I would hope that come Luke Cage Season 2, she will already have her bionic arm. Whether they use Stark Industries tech or whether they go Hammer tech because they went Hammer tech in the first season of Luke Cage, however they decide to go. I hope she has it come Season 2 and she starts to, and we build towards the Daughters of the Dragon, which I would love to see.
Do you think they'll cop out and just give her like a normal human arm and just say that's got a little bit of cyber tech in it?
No, I think I think they will, like, if they don't give her the full metal arm, like, how hard is it to create a full metal arm? I mean, Bucky's got one, and I understand, these movies have a lot more money, but yeah, it can't be that hard. So, like, I would expect to see a full bionic arm rather than just a normal flesh arm that, is enhanced a la Phil Coulson.
I was going to say, we got a Phil Coulson arm going on here.
From Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But, I guess, the supporting characters were there, and I know why they were there, to kind of, keep the Defenders grounded in the sense of having something to fight for and stuff like that. The two that pissed me off the most, though, were Foggy and Karen.
Yep.
So,
just crying around everywhere?
Yeah, to no end. To basically, I can't believe you're still doing this, Matt. I can't believe, you're, going back out there and, trying to save a fucking city.
Well, what was good is we kind of got Foggy's, I guess the fog cleared for him, mate.
The fog has cleared.
And he's kind of like, oh, shit, this guy's actually trying to do something good here.
Yeah.
Here's your suit, mate.
Yeah. But that hasn't happened for Karen.
Yeah,
right?
I know, and that's so frustrating.
And she was frustrating as hell in this show. And, let's flash forward to the Punisher, where she is going to try to, be the voice of reason for the Punisher and stuff like that as well. You're talking about a guy that just violently kills people. Excuse me, and you're worried about,
Matt Murdock knocking people out.
Knocking people out.
Yeah.
being a vigilante and just try to genuinely make a good difference in this world. So that was pretty frustrating. Overall thoughts, though. Give me your overall thoughts. What do you think?
This, I feel like, and I'm gonna IMDb this after we're done here.
Okay.
And I spoke about this privately with you earlier.
Yeah.
Is the fact that there's a lot of scenes early on in this TV show that really made me feel awkward watching it, in the sense that they're framed really, really oddly.
Yeah, which I didn't pick up on at all.
Yeah, and it was something that I just couldn't move past.
Yep.
And it was probably only in the first 1 or 2 episodes. After that, everything just kind of shot in I say in bunny ears, in a normal way.
Yeah.
I feel like the story in this was just a little bit too sloppy for it to really say this is a home run.
Yeah.
It's a good, I guess, combination story. It just could have been executed so much better if we had a little bit more of a clearer story, a clearer villain. Yeah. What about yourself?
Look, I'm going to be known as this guy.
You're going to be the guy that loves everything.
Yeah, I am.
This is perfection.
I am always going to be the guy that loves everything, and I did enjoy this. I think this is one of these things, though, that it could have benefited from a couple of more episodes. So
out of everything you give 8 episodes,
hypocritically, because we were so harsh on Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and dragging out over 13 episodes, this could have really done with a couple more. And I would have loved to have seen more, man. I was left wanting more. The fact that this is apparently supposed to only be a standalone thing and will likely never happen again is, it's disappointing. I would love to see this, the 4 of them get back together again. Yep. It won't happen, but what they have said is that the doors are open now. So they've all met each other. Anyone can cross over to wherever and all that sort of stuff. So we'll likely see team-ups and all that later on down the track, but we probably won't get another Defenders like we have. They might branch out and they might bring us a season of Daughters of the Dragon or something like that. They might do something different, but we're likely not going to get another Defenders. But I enjoyed it. And yes, it had some major issues with its storytelling. It was problematic in the sense that I was literally watching it going, I don't know what you people want. What are you doing? But it was I love the characters coming together, and it gave us some amazing team ups with fight scenes and stuff like that we haven't even really spoken about yet. And a couple of those would be the standout ones for me is the first meeting between Luke Cage and Danny Rand.
Yes,
where they have their first fight, and it's just it's basically Danny cutting absolute sick on Luke Cage and it doing absolutely nothing. And then we get that really cool throwback punch to season 1 of Luke Cage.
Amazing.
It was so well done where Danny Rand lights his fist up and punches him straight in the face, and you get the whole slow-mo, the surprised look on his face, all that, and then he goes flying. And I thought that was really well done, and the fight scene looked great as well. Second, not second to it, but to add to it, it gave us finally a fight scene between Danny Rand and Matt Murdock, or Iron Fist and Daredevil.
Oh, how fantastic was that?
And that was amazing.
And if that does not show you that one is chalk and one is cheese,
yeah,
I don't know what does.
Yeah, but again, this Daredevil benefits from always having his face hidden.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it's so much easier to get a stunt double in there.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? And, once they put Danny in a costume, it will be so much easier to have these brilliant Daredevil level fight scenes. But this was great. I really, really liked that fight scene. I thought it was fucking fantastic. And of course, the first time they all team up, it's kind of when Danny Rand walks into the office and there's the full boardroom of the hand members and Alexandra there, and he cuts sick on them, only to be kind of held down, trying to get his fist to glow, and then Luke Cage just kicks the fucking door in, and then the rap music starts, and it's just brilliant.
What do you think of that? The rap music playing? Is that too cliche?
Well,
it can't be, because it was Run the Jewels and there's a white guy in there.
Yeah, but it's kind of look, somebody has mentioned to me, like, isn't it a bit racist?
It is a bit racist.
Every time he turns up, rap music starts playing. I don't want to touch on that really, but like I get why they did it, because that was so much a part of Luke Cage season 1.
Yeah.
So, it was a big part of it. And this was not necessarily early on, because it does happen again later, but it was kind of, it's almost reintroducing us to the character of Luke Cage.
Yeah. Because not everyone would have watched Luke Cage.
Yeah, for sure. So I didn't think it too bad, because they had already established that based off like a killer soundtrack in season 1. If they hadn't have done that, and then every time the black guy turns up, rap music starts playing, then
that's definitely racist.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit on the nose, but I didn't mind it too much. And as a rap music fan, I kind of enjoy it. But yeah, so I don't know. But I thought that fight scene was pretty cool. That whole thing where they're basically just taking on the hand. Another hallway fight scene. Nothing is ever really going to beat Daredevil season 2's fight scene in the hallway.
No.
I don't know if season 1 was better than season 2. I'm pretty sure season 2 was better.
Season 2 was way better. That was down the staircase.
Yeah. Nothing's going to beat that. But
we kind of got one in this, in the sense that, well, we kind of got the one action scene, which kind of goes hand in hand with that hallway scene.
Yeah.
But this one was downstairs in the caves.
Yeah.
That looked like it was a whole bunch of different little scenes stitched together, because it looked very weird.
Yeah.
I don't think that was one go.
No,
They're
probably
full of
not,
shit.
But no, it wasn't a one shot. No way.
Anything else you want to cover before we you move on to some crazy Easter eggs?
I guess the only thing we really didn't speak about too much is Elektra and how she was utilized within the show. And I was very critical of Elektra in season 2 of Daredevil.
Yeah.
I thought she was the weakest part of the show. Didn't like it at all. I actually did enjoy her in this, even though I didn't understand why any of it was happening. I like, if that makes sense. I liked her, and I accepted it more that she could 100% hold her own with these people.
Yep.
And, I liked it. Her killing Alexandra was so unexpected that, it kind of took me out of it for a second. It's kind of like, okay, so we're done with that now, and this is happening?
Yep.
I would have liked to have seen that not happen and Sigourney Weaver stick around, because I think she was, despite motivations not being very clear, I thought she, like, Sigourney Weaver, man, like, it is a presence on screen that you're not going to get from anyone else. And I really liked that. And for them to, like, just so unceremoniously take her out, for Elektra to now be the new head of the hand, when it kind of seemed to be that, like, if the three of them just teamed up, they could probably beat her.
Most definitely.
Yeah, so, like, I did like it a bit more. I don't know how you felt.
Yeah, look, Elektra was a bit meh for me, and that's only because she was written that way. The fact that she was kind of, like, switching between the two, in the sense that, we were always kind of half guessing, is she going to turn good? Is she not?
Yeah.
I didn't buy it at all.
But that I liked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I liked the fact that it was kind of like, is she going to turn good? Yeah, she's definitely going to turn good.
Oh,
like,
wait,
that's
no,
how
she's
it's all
not.
going to finish. But then she didn't.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that, like, because they very easily could have just turned, like, down the route that, her love for Matt is too much, and it overpowers the black sky.
Which it
and she
kind of
comes
does
back.
at the end.
Sort of. But she still, she still wants what she wants. She doesn't care that, like, that Matt doesn't want her to have it. She still wants that dragon ooze, and she wants to live forever, and she wants to be all-powerful, but she still loves Matt. So she never turned good, but she kind of, like, she.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Would you have wanted Matt Murdock to kill Elektra?
No,
he
because
had no choice.
No, because, like, I really want... I don't know what to expect from Season 3. They say they're going to go down the Born Again or whatever it is story arc, which kind of more heavily revolves around Kingpin than anyone else. So I don't know if they're actually going to do that. I really want to see Bullseye. This is what I want. I want Daredevil versus Bullseye. I want Bullseye killing Elektra. I want the stakes set that high that, it forces Matt to take drastic action, etc., 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 etc. That's what I want for Season 3.
You don't think that kind of will be like a little bit of the same as Season 2?
Yes, like in the sense that
But season 2 was great.
Yes, she's died. She's come back, and then she kind of did she die again? And then if she comes back, and like I don't know, but that's kind of what my hopes have always been for season 3.
Yeah.
So for him to kill her off, it didn't make any sense. He loved her too much. It's not something he would do. If it was a case of like if they had have made it a case of if I don't kill you, you will destroy this city definitely.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a detonator in her hand or something, I don't know. Whatever it is, if they made it the stakes that high, his love or his city, then yes. But they never did. So it wouldn't have made sense. But they should have. They should have pushed it. For sure. What are we up to?
The crazy Easter eggs part.
Crazy Easter eggs part. So we have actually spoken about a couple of these. So Misty Knight's arm and the possibility of the Daughters of the Dragon. That's pretty cool. Danny punching Luke in the face, being a callback to Luke Cage Season 1 where that old mate breaks his hand on Luke Cage's face. What I did like is the almost shot-for-shot rooftop scene between Madame Gao and Alexandra that was exact framing from the Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst on the rooftop.
Was it really?
Yeah, almost exact framing. It was as soon as I saw it. Like, because we've been up there before. We've been on the rooftop, but we've been in different angles.
Yeah.
This was almost exactly where Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst were standing when they were on the rooftop, and it was perfect. So I love that. Yeah.
I'm going to go back and check that out.
Yeah, it's the first time... well, it's not the first time they meet, but it's when Madame Gao comes to meet Sigourney Weaver's Alexandra on the rooftop. There is Linda Carter, so the night nurse. So this is somebody that we've always kind of gone, oh, well, they're basically utilizing Claire Temple as night nurse and stuff like that. Now, in the scene where Misty Knight is in the hospital, on the board, and this is not my eagle eye, I searched for this, so, don't praise me for having an eagle eye. I did not find this. But on the board, her nurse, the name of her nurse for that room is Elle Carter. So there's a tease that the night nurse could actually be effectively out there.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Not the one from Doctor Strange.
Yeah, not the one from Doctor Strange, because that's kind of what we've got so far.
Yeah.
We've kind of got a bit of a mixture between whatever her name is from Doctor Strange. Can't even remember her real name. It's completely escaped me. And Claire Temple.
Yeah.
The only other one is Sister Maggie. So when we finally see the end and we see Matt Murdock wake up and he's in the bed, one of the nuns turns around and says, "Get Sister Maggie," or something like that. Now, Sister Maggie, potential major spoilers. So if you don't want to know who Sister Maggie is based on the comic books, stop listening for about 50 seconds. 15 seconds, sorry. Just skip 15 seconds forward. I'll be done. Is Matt Murdock's mother.
Oh,
shit.
Snap.
So there is and that is part of the whole Born Again story arc. So
they're definitely doing that then.
Maggie. So yeah, they probably will, but I don't know how they'll do it because in that, like Karen Page is like a heroin junkie. Kingpin is like the major kind of villain, I think. So yeah. So I don't know how they'll do it, but they'll do it. That's all I've got.
Okay. They're pretty good.
Yeah. Rate it or hate it?
I'm going to rate it.
Ooh, that was almost like a...
I had to think about it. Yeah, I had to think about it. Look, I will rate it. Will I ever go back and watch it again? Hell no.
Yeah, right.
Never again.
Okay. Interesting.
It really doesn't make me excited for Iron Fist. Doesn't make me excited for Luke Cage. Makes me fucking pumped for Daredevil, though.
Right. Nothing about Jessica Jones?
I don't... No.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, you see, I felt like she was just kind of like the fourth person there.
Yep. I do disagree, and we could
go
talk
on
about
forever.
it forever, but we won't. So I do rate it 100%. Now, I am more looking forward to Luke Cage Season 2. I'm looking forward to what they do, especially that they did mention that Mariah is kind of in hiding. So she's, that leads us to it being something different for Season 2, which I'm pretty excited about. I am also more excited for Iron Fist Season 2, now knowing that I personally believe that Danny Rand is where he needs to be as a character. And I think we'll move past all this, Kun Lun crap and, all that sort of stuff, and he'll start to just, be that guy.
Disappointing, he didn't get his second fist.
Yeah. And also Jessica Jones, man. I loved Jessica Jones Season 1. I love the character. I like the fact that, Alias Investigations is back. So I'm pretty pumped for Season 2 of that as well. And, of course, I am the most pumped for Daredevil Season 3 because they have all been pretty well stellar so far. Where would you rank it within the universe?
In the middle somewhere.
In the middle? So below... So better than Iron Fist and Luke Cage, but not as good as the rest?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yep.
I would probably say the same.
Yeah.
For me, I think it would go Daredevil Season 1, Daredevil Season 2, Part 1, Jessica Jones, Daredevil Season 2, Part 2.
Oh, come on, man. Just,
you can do that.
Don't do these little
Defenders,
bullshit.
Luke Cage, Iron Fist. Shut up.
You're fucking ridiculous.
Or, I could do Luke Cage Part 1. Yeah, anyway.
And that's going to do it for another episode. Let's wrap this up, mate.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Now, a couple of quick listener questions, which we did promise we'll do.
Lightning questions.
So, in honor of Thor... this question, mind you, is from Steven from Facebook. In honor of Thor and Loki fighting side by side in Ragnarok shortly, who is your favorite on-screen set of siblings and why?
Twins. Yep.
You mean like Arnie and Danny DeVito?
Oh, of course.
Seriously?
Yeah,
okay.
man.
No, I like that.
And Austin Powers.
Austin Powers.
Did he turn out to be brothers? No.
No.
That was a joke made in it.
Yep. Mine would be, obviously you can't go past Brennan and Dale from Step Brothers.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So Will Ferrell and the other guy, John C. McGinley. I do like Arnie and Danny DeVito. I would also say Michael and Joe Bluth from Arrested Development.
Oh, I made a terrible mistake.
You have made a terrible mistake. But I do like yours as well, man. Like yours is fine. Now, the last question I pulled very quickly because it was a late one, but we did speak about the other question on the other show. Thank you, Percy Thrillington, for providing that one. Phil McGeechan wants to know Mayweather or McGregor come Sunday. Now, this will already be done by the time this actually drops. So, who is your prediction? And by the time this episode drops, we'll know who's right.
Mayweather, round 6.
Round 6? You even go on round 6?
Yep.
Okay, I will say Mayweather, purely because he is, he's spent an entire career being a boxer. McGregor is heart says McGregor, head says Mayweather, and it's going to be a unanimous decision. Who gives a fuck? But I will watch it.
You think they're going to go all 12? All 10? Is it 10 or 12?
I just look. I don't see Mayweather knocking out McGregor for whatever reason, but I also don't see McGregor having much of a gas tank past the early rounds.
Yeah.
So if McGregor is going to get it done, he needs to get it done early, and he needs to land that punch. Whether he can actually land it on a guy who has built a career as being one of the best defensive boxers of all time is going to be practically impossible. But I would love for him to win. I think it would be amazing if he did. I'm not.
It'll put the sports world into shambles, mate.
It would. I'm not a Mayweather fan by any stretch of the imagination. I do love boxing, but I am more of an MMA guy, so I'll go McGregor.
All right, look,
just
guys,
for the sake of it.
You got your MMA fix, you got your questions fix, and you got your Kung Fu Karate fix.
That's
all
right.
in one episode.
All in one episode. What else do you need, goddammit? Hey, make sure you go back and check out Sunday's show that we dropped. We're talking about all the week's news, including the mess that is all the stuff that is dropped from Warner Brothers and the DCEU, etc., etc., etc. We try to make sense of that. So make sure you do that. We'll be back this coming Sunday with another episode of that news and whatnot.
What's the fun show next week, Troy?
Oh my God, the fun show next week. I've been doing this show with you for what feels like about 48 years. And in that time, I have never been able to do an episode on Game of Thrones. And now I am finally getting to do a full Season 7 wrap-up of Game of Thrones. Amy's going to be here. She's going to help me out, and it is going to be glorious. And I don't know what you're going to do for the half an hour that we do that. You'll sit there and throw in some jibes left, right, and center, I'm sure.
I'll probably just sit out to tell you the truth.
Fair enough. You do what you got to do, pal, but we are talking about Game of Thrones Season 7. The whole damn thing.
The whole damn thing in one go.
One go.
Troy, where can the people find us?
They can find us on social media. That is Facebook, which is Comic Confidential. You can find us in the listener community on Facebook, which is Comic Confidential Listener Community. We also have a Twitter and an Instagram, which is at ComicConPod. We also have a website, Cade.
That's ComicConPod.com. Past episodes, future episodes, and everything in between.
That's right. We also have a Patreon. That's patreon.com/ComicConPod, where you can support the show for as little as $1 a week. And check it out. There's a whole bunch of other things that you can get on there, and that's where you get early access to shows, etc., 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 etc.
Early access to other shows that aren't released yet.
Yes. There is that. Potterheads.
Potterheads.
Get
if you
on
like
it.
Harry Potter, we're doing a Harry Potter podcast hosted by Amy and another listener of the show, Kirsten.
Amy and Kirsten, the Potterheads.
They're reading some dank books.
Some dank books about a dank wizard and his dank red nut friend. Sweet.
Nailed it.
That's it, man. Thanks for listening. As always, I'm Troy.
And I'm Cade.
And this has been Comic Confidential.
Cheers.
Peace. We're done.
You think it's going to go all the way through? You're dreaming.
What?
Colin McGregor and Mayweather.
Did you say Colin McGregor?
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah, Conor McGregor. No, I don't. But I just, man, I don't see Mayweather like knocking out McGregor. It's not like McGregor's never been punched. He's been punched pretty hard with much, much smaller gloves before.
Do you feel like this could be like the new white man can't jump? It'll be white man can't fight?
But white man can fight.
Yeah.
He's like a he's like a dual UFC champion. The kid could fight. He's like about as white as they come. He's Irish.
Yeah. He's almost transparent.
Yeah. Whether he can take this title, though, I genuinely don't think so.
Who cares? They're all getting nearly $1 billion each.
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, they're like, win, lose, or draw, McGregor will never have to do a thing again if he doesn't want to. So, like, more power to him. The kid is 27 and could literally...
He looks about 50.
He does not. He could literally walk away from both sports for the rest of his life and never have to work again. So good on him.
Good on him.
I love you, Connor.
McGregor.
Yeah.
Babies.